Why do you seek the narcissist's downfall? Why is it that following escape, or more commonly disengagement, the victim of the narcissist hopes for the downfall of the narcissist? Whether it is wanting the narcissist's life to go horribly wrong, or even being the one to cause that to happen, why are so many victims focused on that? Why do they want the narcissist's next relationship to end in disarray? Why do they want the narcissist to be ostracized by friends and family? Why do they want the narcissist to lose his or her job, to fall foul of the authorities, to get caught out by the taxman? Why do they want people to see the narcissist for what they are? To have the narcissist exposed? To have every facet of the narcissist's life turn sour? Losing friends, losing their hair, losing their looks, losing their money, losing the will to live. First of all, not all victims actually do want that. There are those who want the relationship to resurrect again, especially, of course, where disengagement has occurred. They want the narcissist to come back and say, there, everything's all right, and to reinstate the glorious golden period once again. Some victims want to be taken off the shelf, or to be promoted, to become the full-time partner, spouse, boyfriend or girlfriend of the narcissist, rather than their position as side piece, mistress, the other man. Others want to fix the problems that have occurred in the relationship, to make everything right again, to heal, to fix. Others just want to remain friends, to be civil, to keep things on an even keel, whether it's for just the sake of their sanity, the sake of the children, or the wider social circle. There are others again, and this is the logical and sensible approach, that just want to move on and have nothing more to do with the narcissist, either directly in terms of never spending time with the narcissist or communicating with them ever again, and indirectly in terms of not wanting to know anything about what's going on in the narcissist's life, not being told about what the narcissist is up to, certainly not looking for it, and driving the narcissist from their mind. And this is the group that are focused on total no contact, and they are the ones that will, with the application of my work, make their recovery the quickest. However, a substantial number don't want all of those things. They want to cause the downfall of the narcissist, or at least see it happen, be a bystander to the misery heaped upon the narcissist, be a witness to the downfall of the narcissist. This is evidenced by the popularity of certain titles such as How to Make the Narcissist Suffer Forever, How to Wound the Narcissist, What Causes the Largest Wounding to the Narcissist, How to Beat the Narcissist, How to Leave the Narcissist Twisted in Torment Forever, What does the narcissist feel when you leave them? What does the narcissist feel when they realize they've lost the real one? And so on and so forth. It also witnesses the popularity of such titles of How to Manipulate a Narcissist, How to Get a Narcissist to Do What You Want, How to Control the Narcissist, and one which was brought to my attention recently, which I'll be covering, with the most ridiculous title of How to Use Narcissistic Fluffing to Play the Narcissist. The idea of somehow being able to orchestrate the demise, downfall, otherwise misery of the narcissist, of course, is something which is unattainable. And those that suggest the contrary are merely setting you up for failure, problems, and a heap of misery for yourself. But of course, they don't understand narcissism, so they give you this incorrect information. But leaving that to one side, why is it that so many people want to bring about, or at least watch, the downfall of the narcissist? Well, first of all, let us look at the true victims. The true victim of a narcissist, an empathic individual, if they want to see or bring about the downfall of the witness, this is a consequence of two factors. The first is their erosion of emotional empathy. As an empath, ordinarily, they wouldn't wish ill on other people. That's not how empaths roll. Empaths operate through their empathic traits. Those traits of being a love devotee, compassionate, decent, having a strong moral compass, caring, honesty, truth seeker, and so forth. And the amalgam, the accumulated effect of those traits, means that the empath does not ordinarily want to see people suffering, does not ordinarily want to see people experiencing misfortune, watch them losing their job, seeing their health fail, seeing their relationships crash and burn. The empath wants people to be happy, people to be safe and to be secure. But of course, where they have been on the receiving end of abuse, that acts as an external stressor to drive down their emotional empathy for the antagonizing narcissist. So, for a period of time, they don't have any emotional empathy for that narcissist, or it is very low. And therefore, that enables their narcissistic traits to come to the fore, that they don't feel pity or sorry or caring for that narcissist. Instead, they want that narcissist to suffer. They want that narcissist to know what it's like to suffer in some form, to experience misfortune. The caring is gone, the compassion has evaporated. And accordingly, as a direct consequence of the abuse that has been directed towards the empathic victim, their emotional empathy is eroded, resulting in the outcome that they simply no longer give a fig about the well-being of the narcissist, and therefore that causes them to want to see the narcissist suffer in some way. It's temporary, and over time, that feeling will evaporate as a consequence of the erosion of the external stressor. As it fades, the emotional empathy returns. The second reason is as a consequence of the presence of emotional thinking. You will have suffered at the hands of the narcissist. Whether you have been beaten, sexually abused, had your money stolen, cheated on, spat at, berated in front of your children, locked out of your house, kept awake at night, subjected to silent treatments, whether present and or absent. Whether you've been the victim of false accusations, whether you've been triangulated with other people, objects or events, whether you've been subjected to mind-numbing word salads, the merry-go-round of circular conversations, and all of the other manipulations that you're familiar with. All of this will have taken its toll on you. You'll be physically hurt, mentally worn down, emotionally exhausted, fatigued. You'll have lost money, possibly your home. Relationships have become broken. You might have been alienated from your children, lost your job, made a pariah, become frightened, bewildered. And therefore, as a consequence of the harm that has been meted out to you, this is capitalized upon by your high emotional thinking. When you escape, or when you've been disengaged from, your emotional thinking can only be in one place, extremely high. This is because you will have been in all of the 5 arenas of interaction with the narcissist up until that point, and indeed you will still be staying in some of them, even following the demise of the formal relationship. And that means that your emotional thinking will be extremely high. There are no two ways about it. If you've been disengaged from in the last month, your emotional thinking will be extremely high. If you escaped last week, your emotional thinking will be very high. What this then means is that this elevated emotional thinking wants you to carry on feeding the addiction that you have as an empathic victim to the narcissist. So what it does is it corrupts certain of your traits. And if you want to understand which of your traits are most likely to be corrupted, you should use the Trait Detector. Your elevated emotional thinking gets hold of your empathic trait of justice and causes you to think, it's about time that this individual received some payback for the way that they behave. Whether it's losing friends, whether it's being reported to the police, whether it's being dobbed into the tax authorities or some professional body. You want retribution meted out against the narcissist as a consequence of your empathic sense of justice. It might be that you want people to know the truth of this individual, that you want to go upon some kind of PR campaign, telling everybody about what has happened to you and what a despicable person the narcissist is. This is as a consequence of the corruption of your truth-seeker trait, causing you to believe that it is necessary for you to tell all and sundry about what has happened to you, how you've been treated, and who the narcissist really is. This is especially the case where you're dealing with a narcissist that operates a facade, which will be mid-range or greater. In some instances, it's your narcissistic traits which are corrupted, your narcissistic trait of pride, or vanity, or resentment. The fact that you can't stand the fact that the narcissist just swanned off into the sunset with somebody else, with nary a glance over their shoulder, leaving you in the dust. How dare they? Your pride has been dented. How dare this person treat you this way? It's time to get some revenge over them. It might be that as you recover, you want them to see that you're doing well, driven by your narcissistic trait of vanity or pride, and that with you on the up, you want to see them on the down. You were hurt by the fact that they left you for somebody else. You want that relationship to crash and burn. You keep an eye on the social media, watching to see what happens, getting tidbits from friends. Is there trouble in paradise yet? The narcissist that bragged about his promotion, you want to see him get found out. And perhaps you would be the one that will report the individual for the fact that he lied about his CV or qualifications so that he loses his job. You, as an empathic victim, have an addiction to narcissists. This creates emotional thinking. At that point in the narcissistic dynamic, your emotional thinking will be very high indeed, and therefore it wants you to stay in and march into other arenas of interaction to keep feeding the addiction. So what it does is, it gets hold of the hurt and the pain and the anger and the frustration and the irritation and the annoyance and the misery that you have experienced as a consequence of the behavior of the narcissist towards you, and utilizing the corruption of the relevant empathic and narcissistic traits, it basically says, let's get this fucker back. Let's see their life turn to crap. Either we'll cause it, or let's just keep watching in the hope and expectation that they get their just desserts, that the imaginary concept of karma comes a-calling and gives a great big dollop of justice, steaming and fetid on the head of the narcissist. Thus, it's entirely understandable why so many of you do want to kick narcissist ass, that you want to bring about the downfall or at least see it happen. It's because you have been so badly hurt by the behavior of the narcissist, and with that elevated emotional thinking, which you will all invariably have, it drives through the corruption of your narcissistic and empathic traits to cause you to want these things to happen. There is another group, however, and these are the unaware narcissists. These are the ones who think that they are empathic victims but aren't. And as a consequence of their skewed perspective, they believe that they have been hard done to. The true victim which has escaped them, they see as a narcissist disengaging from them. And therefore, it wounds them, although they don't know this. Their narcissism, of course, needs to assert control, to gain fuel. And this causes them to embark upon a crusade of trying to get retribution against the innocent victim, hoovering them hard, thinking that they are on some righteous crusade, failing to realise that they are actually engaging in malign hoovers. These are often the individuals which take to YouTube and churn out video after video telling you all about what they've been doing against the narcissist, the ongoing locking of horns with the narcissist, pleading and crying, the pity plays, as they detail it all. And the fact is, an empath wouldn't do all of that. The empath would deal with matters privately, would talk to their inner circle about it. Yes, occasionally through elevated emotional thinking, you might get some empaths that would engage in a confessional, if you will, on YouTube, making some videos. But the majority don't. The majority of you listening, you've been compelled to tell your friends about what has happened to you, your family, and maybe wider circles. But you've not been compelled to splurge it all over YouTube as to what has happened to you, because your empathic traits have meant that you've not been moved to do that. Many of the individuals that do it time and time again, not once, that is a consequence of an erosion of emotional empathy and heightened emotional thinking that might cause an empath to do it once, but the video after video after video, the tirade against the supposed narcissist, the avalanche of confessionals about the behaviours, the rolling diary of activities, that is, in all likelihood, an unaware narcissist who believes that they are the victim. And they, because of the need to assert control, and to do so through malign hoovers, become obsessed in observing the supposed narcissist, who is the true victim, and trying to bring about their downfall as a consequence of the need to assert control and draw fuel. For the most part, however, those who want to occasion the downfall of the narcissist are affected by the erosion of their emotional empathy and their elevated emotional thinking. For those of you who are concerned as to whether you are a narcissist or not, and that you resonate with what I'm explaining to you about those desires to bring down the narcissist, undertake the Empath Detector test to determine what you are. Many of you, it is understandable that you have these feelings, but as you stay in no contact, or as long as you do that, you'll reduce your emotional thinking, and the desire for revenge, the desire to bring about the downfall of the narcissist, fades away. You just don't become interested any longer. You're far more interested in your own defense. And that is where you must be. For those of you who are the true victims, whilst it's entirely understandable that you may well want to bring about the downfall of the narcissist or witness it, it is not in your best interests, because all that will happen is you will give the narcissist fuel. We win. You will suffer adverse consequences. We win. And you'll keep your emotional thinking high, meaning you lose, and therefore, because this is a zero-sum game, we win. You need to look to your own defences, not embark upon a crusade, tempting as it might be, to try and bring down the narcissist. It might be tempting to think, I'm not going to do it, but I just want to keep an eye on what's going on in his or her life to see that they're suffering problems. It's understandable that you want to do that, but it is not in your best interest to take such steps, because you are remaining involved with the narcissist. You are continuing to interact. And, even as you listen to me explaining this to you, you may be tempted to reject what I'm telling you. That is the effect of your emotional thinking, not wanting to listen to logic. It is understandable, where you are a true empathic victim of the narcissist, to want to see the narcissist experience a downfall. But the best thing that you can do is impose total no contact, have nothing more to do with that narcissist, and focus upon the answers that I provide you to understand what's going through the narcissist's mind and what will happen to them, and plough your own furrow and forge your own recovery. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.